Well, good morning. The world is on fire. Phil has his Red Bull. I have my coffee. And if you haven't been paying attention, it seems like everything is crashing down around us, and we are trying to do what business owners do and survive. So the question is, the world's on fire around you. What are you doing to grow your business?
Yeah, it feels that way, doesn't it?
It does.
Feels that way.
It does.
I was in Wichita yesterday with a new business that Dave and I are owners of, and we're very excited about that. But this conversation came up in a roundabout way, and I think a lot of people, it's on fire, but I think there's a lot of people standing on the outside flaming.
Oh,
there
is no doubt. And we're going to challenge you a couple of things today, but the first one is I'm going to challenge you to avoid the noise. Stay out of the noise. Focus on what you've been doing this whole time, because here's the part that people are missing. When everybody else is over here looking at this, it's the best time for you to do things in your business to grow and expand your customer base when nobody's looking. And that comes from years of experience watching big companies and myself looking for the ways to leverage my business and grow it with Phil. And Phil's done the same thing.
Yeah, I think case in point, we're out acquiring other companies right now. We're out finding other opportunities in a variety of industries because my kids laugh at me about a lot of things these days, but
that's an emotionally challenging conversation.
Oh boy. So what was it yet? I had a couple guys out, and they were doing some work at our house, and I asked one of them, I said, "How old are you?" He said, 25. Kind of shook my head, and I said, "How old are you?" He had his helper. He said, 25. I said, "If we combine both your ages, I'm 5 years older than you." So I have woke up, and then I like to say I may not be in the fourth quarter, but I'm deep in the third if I'm not in the fourth.
Same halftime yet.
And so what we got to do though is, regardless of where you're at, you got to be looking for opportunities. Whether it's how am I going to go increase sales? How am I going to go find these employees, which is a very challenging thing right now. We all know that it's very, very hard for whatever reason. We don't have, the show's not long enough to talk about all those reasons, but it is very, very, very challenging right now for many of our clients to find quality employees. Well, let me change that. To find any employee, it's very challenging.
It's a nationwide problem.
It's a nationwide problem. And it's not just any one. It's not like we're just saying, well, it's really hard to find sales reps. It's really hard to find manufacturing employees. It's really hard to find executives. It's really hard to find everything. And I think there's a few factors. I think people are scared. I think a lot of times when people are scared, if they are employed, they just huddle down and they say, we're just going to ride this out. There's other factors that we're all very aware of, but regardless of what challenge you're facing, you got to keep moving forward. If you're not moving forward, you're dying. I mean, you've got to keep pressing forward, and it applies to all businesses. There's the other thing too is personal responsibility through times like this is extremely important. You've got to understand it. I mean, you're ultimately the one that's responsible for the outcome of your life. I mean, it's not Dave's responsibility to make sure that I'm doing the things I need to do. It's not my responsibility to make sure he's doing the things he needs to do. Each person has to individually decide they're going to get up every day and go do those things. Now, of course, we talk a lot about this off air, and we've talked a lot about it when we're doing our show, but bottom line is fear locks people down. And it's either fear of failure, but many times, as corny as this sounds, it's fear of success. I mean, we just had a conversation about a client, and I made the comment, my biggest concern, you could say fear, but my biggest concern is if we do all these things, give him what he wants, I think there's a chance they may self-destruct because it's a fear of the unknown. It's a fear of not knowing what's that going to do to my life? How's it going to affect my personal relationships? How's it going to affect all the things in my life? I've heard people tell me, well, I don't want to make more money because I'm just going to pay more taxes. I don't understand that.
Well,
I don't understand that, but it's because everything's relevant, right? But how do you stay positive? How do you stay forward thinking? How do you keep moving forward when everything's on fire around you, or appears to be on fire around you?
I'm gonna throw this out there, and it's one of my favorite things to say. You need to chase failure, right? If you're not pushing hard to the failure point and jumping up and figuring it out, when you lose that passion to do that, it's really hard to be successful. Because what happens to a lot of us is you do pretty good and you make a pretty good living and you got the big house and you got some pool, you got the nice car, your kids are going to college and your wife getting ready to go live the great life, right? And you quit. You quit doing the things that got you there and you get comfortable. I'm going to tell you, it's kind of what's happening to our country, right? We've gotten comfortable. But when you get comfortable, you stop chasing failure. You stop pushing yourself to do the things you've always done to be successful. And the only way a lot of times you're going to recover from that is if you completely drop to the bottom of the barrel and you're dead ass broke and you're having to pick up and rebuild yourself.
Yeah. And I think, I went a variation of this through the pandemic. Dave knows, it was a rough year with some of the businesses that we own, and it got to me. I was pissed off. I was just mad. Was that a safe statement?
You were grumpy, Phil.
I was grumpy, Phil, and my buddy here to my left helped get me out of that. And I think, but part of the reason is you do get to, and listen, we don't live in some Pollyanna world where we don't acknowledge that there's real problems and real challenges. There are. But as my daddy used to tell me, if you get punched in the nose, you go to the ground, you can either lay there and bleed or you can get up and fight back. And so fighting back is what we're really talking about. You can, everybody tries to put things in these sweet, politically correct, use the right words. What we're really talking about is standing up and fighting for what you're passionate about, fighting for what's important to you. And doing the things necessary, many of which are going to make you uncomfortable, because it's scary. It's scary. I talked to a gentleman yesterday that kind of shared with me, he goes, he said, had a couple tough years, and the pandemic hit, and he was sharing that, he'd gotten behind on his taxes and, that constant stress. And I said, pick up the phone, get your CPA on the phone with you, call the IRS, set a meeting, and work out a plan, because guess what? It'll go away if you do that.
And it won't go away if you don't do anything.
And it ain't gonna go away if you don't do anything. And that's not how it works. I've gotten letters. I got a letter just a few weeks ago informing me that they, hey, we need some more documentation on one of your returns. Well, I don't know where any of that crap's at. I have it, but I can't go lay hands on it tomorrow.
Well, your house isn't $1,000.
Right. And so my solution, because I'm dealing with it, was, what's the additional money I owe you? According to you, it's X. Great. Checks in the mail. Send them the money. It goes away. But you have to deal it in some way. You have to deal with it. And we as a society want things simple, in a box, cute, pretty, easy, where nothing hurts. There's no sacrifice. There's no challenge. And I'm just telling you, that's not how life works.
No, you have to attack, and we all do this. Look, I do it. We all do it. But there's something you don't want to deal with, we don't deal with it. Ask my wife. She'll give me something that I absolutely do not want to do, and it will sit there on the table for months.
It'll eventually get done.
And it would just be, and I'm learning that I'm getting older, so I'm learning it's easier just to go do it and be done with it.
Right now,
or it'll sit there. So I say that in humor, but it's true. We do the same thing with our business. We do the same thing with challenges in life. I'm challenging you today to chase those things, get them off your table. You'll be a lot happier.
Yeah.
You'll be a lot less stress. You'll be doing great things. So what do we mean when we say chase failure? I will tell you, we have a client right now that is doing amazing things in a bunch of different areas, but they have failed, and it's been hard. It's been hard, but the fun part has been watching them solve the problem and move forward and get better, and communication gets better, and the business model gets better, and our team gets stronger, and we adjust the team and we make this adjustment, but they don't give up. They get up every day fighting, and it is so exciting to be a part of that. Even when they fall down and trip, we pick them back up and you move forward. You need to be doing the same thing. Don't get complacent. If you are not embracing change, if you are not embracing those moments when you need to pivot, then you need to start doing it right now, or you will become irrelevant and your company will go away.
Well, and I think too, it goes back to, you were telling me about something yesterday on the news. I wasn't around I didn't see the news yesterday, which my days tend to be better when I don't look at the news. So I had a good day yesterday, but because I think everybody lies to us on the news. Everybody. I'm not saying any one side or the other side. I'm saying all of them. I think all of them are full of crap. And so I think it's whoever they're trying to talk to, and whoever their advertisers are. And I think it's all driven, it's not about the money until it's
all about the money, right?
Yeah, follow the damn money. So I don't believe any of them. And then we were talking about, and this is one of the worst things in the world that can affect people, is when you blame everybody else for everything that bad happens in your life, or anything that presents a challenge, or anything that makes you look less than perfect. Then everybody's looking for somebody to blame. And the reality is the person that usually is to blame is the cat that's looking you in the mirror. It's not everybody else. And we've got to get past that. We had a new client just starting the engagement. I was supposed to have a 2:00 call. I've got a bunch of my kids back in town that I haven't seen in quite some time. And I swung by the house because I wanted to go see him. The next thing I look up, it's 3:15. I completely forgot about the 2:00. And so I picked up the phone, and one of my sons wants to go into business someday. And I said, here, stick around, watch how Pops handles screwing something up. And I got on the phone, I called him up, and the first words out of my mouth is, I'm really sorry, but I'm glad I got this out of the way, blowing off a meeting with you. It's out of the way. It won't happen again. I apologize. And I said, I could give you some big line, but the truth is I was talking to some of my kids I hadn't seen in a while, and I got excited and was having fun, and I forgot to call you. And the person on the other end of the phone said, well, good. I'm glad you had the time with your kids. Why did that go over well? It went over well because I just owned it. I just said, I dropped the ball. I screwed up. This is what happened. This is why it happened. It won't happen again. I'm sorry. We spent literally 15 seconds on it, and then we went on and had a great conversation. Okay. So, if you do find yourself, and that applies to not just if you mess up, but making good decisions. If you're sitting there and things aren't going the way you want them to go in your business, and your solution is to do the same thing, that's not going to work. If it's to do the same thing, but you change a product, it's probably not going to work. You've got to really look at what are the opportunities that are out there. How can we move the needle in a positive way that gets us to our ultimate end goal, or the outcomes that we want. You got to find out what you want. You got to figure out what you really want. And then you got to state it. You got to write it down. You got to let people know that are close to you, this is what I'm trying to do, because there's internal accountability when you do that. But you also are going to need that support from, and you want people to be able to be your cheerleaders along the way, but you got to get up every day, put your boots on, you got to go to work. And to be quite honest, a big part of the reason why people don't make good change is putting the boots on and going to work's hard. And
100%.
And sometimes hard things are the easiest things to quit, right? Because they're hard.
So I'm gonna ask everybody a question. I don't care what age you are right now, but why do you think, and you may be that person, but why do you think the kids in school got A's and other kids didn't?
I can answer that for myself. I was lazy.
You didn't want to do the lesson.
I was lazy.
I mean, you did. One of the challenge, and I'll give this tip to parents out there: if you have college-age kids, and my kids aren't perfect, so don't take it this way. My challenge to them is you go to class every day. Don't miss a class.
Show up.
Go to class every day and spend at least 1 hour doing homework every night. If you do that, you're 95% ahead of every person in school with you. Same with your job. Go to work. Show up every day. Put in a good day's work. Solve at least one problem. Get one thing off your list every day. If you do that, the compound effect will have you so far ahead of every other business you're competing against. It's not even funny because they got teams that aren't doing that. They got teams that their sales team is sitting at home not doing anything. They got teams whose manufacturing people are looking at Facebook or doing whatever on the line or jaw jacking. Empower your team, challenge your team to accomplish at least one big thing a day. And you do the same, and you show up. And if you do that, you can start chasing success and getting through your failure.
You know, we had a recent example of this with a client, that one person that's a very capable salesperson, it's very capable, it's proven they're very capable, but it's just been in a rut for some time, and finally had to have the talk with them, and all of a sudden immediately spikes. Why did it spike? Because they showed up. I mean, they show you. For those people that are in sales and you work for an organization, people know when you're not showing up. Sales is the easiest place in the world to see when people are not showing up.
Well, they booked over $50,000 worth of work in a week.
Right.
And they came back. I mean, it's crazy.
But it's easy to see when you're not doing what you need to be doing. Showing up is 90% of it. You got to show up and care about people enough and believe in what you're doing. If you do those simple things, it's amazing the kind of success you can have.
I mean, we're done. Show up.
Are we done?
I don't know what else to say because I'm
show up. Show up.
But
show up.
I want to challenge you, no matter what age you are, to get out of your comfort zone. I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to turn the TV off, put your phone down, stop listening to people tell you how bad you are, how good you are because you believe one thing or another. And I want you to go build community. I want you to go build your business. I want you to go leverage the chaos to expand and grow and become the person that you are truly meant to become. Because now is the biggest opportunity for people in recent history to go do great things. And you may not believe it, but in times of crisis and times of chaos,
tons of opportunity
is when, I mean, look at the Industrial Revolution, look at the impact of after the Depression and World War II, look at what happened post-Vietnam and the growth in the 80s in our country. Look at the chaos we went through and the people that leveraged that to build enormously successful organizations that have done great things for their community in the world.
And last thing I want to say is this: do not put a limit on what you're capable of accomplishing, because whenever you set a limit, Dave hears me tell this to people all the time.
That's it.
If you sit there and say, my number is, I want my company to be a $20 million a year revenue company, top line company, you will never go higher than 20 million bucks. It won't happen. We've seen it hundreds and hundreds of times. Do not put a limit on it. As you hit goals, as you reach milestones, raise the bar. And honestly, just being really direct, if that scares you or you say that's too hard, you need to go do something else. I mean, just because you can never stop raising the bar, adjusting your goals, saying, okay, we hit that milestone, what's a new one we can go get? You cannot stop changing that. You can't. I mean, it's not how it works. I got asked a question yesterday with this new business. One of our partners up in this business said, so I don't understand how people can build a business. They've had it for 40 years and they've been doing 5 million in revenue for 30 of those years. How can that be? And I said, it's because they got comfortable.
100%. Yeah.
They worked their tails off, got it up to 5 million, and then they were comfortable. And they quit doing the things you got to do to keep growing.
Yeah.
You know, getting to a certain level is the easy part. Pushing past it, getting to that place where a very small percentage of people live that own businesses, that's the hard part. I mean, it's hard to get to that level because it's hard. It requires you to put your boots on and go to work for a long, long time. And you're either driven by that or you're not. Now, I will say this: if you are content, there's nothing wrong with being content, but don't whine about the fact that your business isn't growing. I mean,
you reach your number and you're happy. Be happy.
Be happy.
We're not saying don't be happy.
Yeah,
we're saying be careful, because if you're not adapting your business, that number will go away.
It'll go away.
It'll go away fast.
And more importantly to me is, don't complain that your business isn't growing. There's usually one reason why your business isn't growing. It's because you're not working. You're not doing the hard things every day. So I think my message in this time is don't pay so close attention to people that you don't even know, right? What they're saying, how you should feel. You decide that for yourself. Get up every day and decide that you're going to be productive, happy, positive, enjoy your day, go help people, do all those things. If you just listen to yourself, and if you walk the things out you need to walk out, you're going to have success. If you get caught up worrying about what Tucker's saying on Fox.
Hey, my dog didn't do anything. Why are you picking on Tucker?
Not the Tucker.
Oh, sorry. Jesus, Tucker. Poor bulldog.
The Tucker's perfect. But if you're not don't listen to Tucker Carlson. Don't listen to Jake Tapper or whoever on the other side. Just get up and go form your own opinion.
Turn it off.
Go live your life. I mean, it's crazy that people allow the news to dictate their mood. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. I mean, it's just, because focus on the things you control. You control the things that are right in front of you. You can control the things that you have a direct effect on. You're not going to control the things that they tend to be talking about.
So let's close this out this way. Let's do a 30-day challenge.
Okay.
A 30-day no news challenge.
I win.
Is that going to be
watch it for months?
Is that going to be too much for our? But let's do it. Let's do a 2-week.
A 2-week no news challenge.
No news challenge for everybody that watches it. We challenge you to not watch the news for 2 weeks.
You'll be happier.
I want you to see what your state of mind is. My wife and I turn news off at our house. Now, I will tell you, I do read financials every day. I do read the news, but I do not watch the news for that. I did not watch news for that period. And I'm going back for the 2-week challenge for you guys. No news for 2 weeks. Turn it off. And see how your life changes.
And I think, listen, we're not saying don't be an informed citizen, but you can be informed a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I think one of the things one of my kiddos and I were talking about this past week is I think it should be a required class, and it should be taught like in junior high through high school on through college, how to do independent research to vet things. How do you go in and find, because it should be easy. We've never had more information at our fingertips, but the reality is there's a lot of people out there lying to you. There's a lot of people out there, and again, on all sides. It's not, nobody has the market cornered on BS. Okay.
Understood.
So just please, spend the time, be informed, but don't buy into all the world is collapsing crap. Don't buy into it.
Chicken Little's alive and well, right?
Oh my Lord.
Well, with that, the world's on fire. Forget about it. You'll do great things with your business.
I need a nap.
Chase failure. Be successful. Stay off the TV news for 2 weeks. Don't let other people fill your head with nonsense, and go do great things.
That's it.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
With that, with Exxon Live, Dave and Phil, we are out of here.